Hi, this is David Hawthorne at astroview.com. Today is the 6th of August 2012. The following is the Vedic Astrology reading for Justin Bieber. We're using the 1st of March 1994 at 12:56 a.m. in London, Ontario, Canada. So using Vedic Astrology from India, we see that he has in the first house the sign of Scorpio, 8th sign of the zodiac. So Scorpio is a water sign. And the water sign persons can be creative, sensitive. Scorpio can be entertaining, private, mysterious. This is also a fixed sign. Fixed sign persons can amass wealth and status in life. Now Scorpio is the 8th sign. It relates to the 8th house. This is always the first house, 2nd house, 3rd house, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12 houses of life. So Scorpio is the 8th sign. It relates to the 8th house. So Scorpio rising sign persons go through tremendous transformations this lifetime. And we see that Justin has the northern node of the moon, Rahu. It's R-A-H-U. Rahu's in the first house at 3 degrees. Rahu in the first house can give charisma, fame, fortune, energy, ambition, magnetic personality like nobody's business. This is really powerful situation. In fact, a number of other persons with strong Rahus include Bob Dylan, JFK Jr., Elvis Presley, Muhammad Ali, O.J. Simpson. So Rahu can be a very powerful planet that can give you charisma, fame, fortune, energy, and ambition. But if it's close to the rising sign degree, in this case the ascendant is 5 degrees. Rahu's at 3 degrees. There's only 2 degrees separation. Now this is not 100% impact. It's not 80% impact, but it's a 60% impact. Rahu's afflicting the 60% in the first house of self. This can cause a total eclipse of Justin, just like Elvis Presley, JFK Jr., Muhammad Ali, Princess Diana. Rahu's also afflicting the 5th house of mind. It can make very voracious mind, but restless mind, cause some worries and phobias, anxieties, and paranoia, as it were. Rahu is afflicting the 7th house of marriage. It can give him tremendous desires for marriage and relationships, but it can also cause an eclipse of his own spouse, his own wife, as the case of JFK Jr. And Rahu afflicts 9 houses away, which is the house of father and gurus and long-distance travel. So he has to be careful about this Rahu influence. So Rahu and Ketu are definitely, Ketu is the southern node of the moon, both at 3 degrees, close to the rising sign degree, so they can cause an eclipse of himself and his spouse and his children and his father. And Ketu is afflicting the house of older siblings, and Ketu is afflicting the house of younger siblings. So this has to be managed so that he doesn't have problems. So for Rahu, he can help afflicted persons. In India, we would say feed the lepers. So he can donate to charities for cancer, AIDS, Parkinson, Alzheimer's. And for Ketu, you help holy man, holy woman, or spiritual organization. Now Jupiter rules the 2nd house of wealth and status. It's in the 12th house of foreign lands. So he can have wealth and status in a foreign land. And Moon rules the 9th house of divine grace and good fortune, and it's in the 12th house of foreign lands. So he can have divine grace, good fortune, wealth, and status in a foreign land. But this is still the 12th house, Libra, and this is a weak position. So this can delay having children and having his own marriage, and this can also cause some weakness of his emotional state. Moon is 0 degrees, is weak. So he can strengthen Jupiter by wearing a yellow sapphire gemstone. He can strengthen Moon by wearing a pearl gemstone. So a pearl and a yellow sapphire would be good. He could also wear an emerald gemstone to strengthen Mercury, which is at 29 degrees old age. Mercury in the 3rd house is good for self-expression, especially connected with communications. He's got a very powerful 4th house. This is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th house. It's Aquarius. He's got Mars, Saturn, Sun, and Venus in Aquarius. Very strong, very powerful, especially Saturn and Sun. Saturn rules Aquarius. It's in its own sign. This is a blessing. And Sun is with Saturn, and Sun is very strong here. So his Sun is in Aquarius. I know in Western astrology Sun is Pisces, but we're not using tropical zodiac, we're using sidereal zodiac. So Sun moves back into Aquarius. Makes him unconventional, humanitarian. A very powerful Sun, which is the soul. Very powerful Saturn, which is perseverance and longevity. So that's good news. Mars rules the 6th house, and it does represent conflict. So there can be conflicts at home or with property. And Mars aspects 4 houses away. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Mars is aspecting Ketu. So this is not good. Mars can cause some calamity, some accident, some explosion, some problem like that. And Venus here is at 27 degrees. It kind of weakens the 12th house because it's an old age. So he may have insomnia and may not have good relations with his own spouse as well. Now he should never wear a diamond for Venus. He should never wear a red coral for Mars. Now my big concern is that he went into his Rahu main period back in March 97. It runs until March 2015. So he's in 18 years of Rahu. Rahu gives charisma, fame, and fortune. And if you look back 3 years ago, October 2008, almost 4 years ago, he went into the Venus sub-period for 3 years. It ran from October 2008 to October 2011. That's when he burst on the scene. Venus is music and the arts. So that's very powerful. Fine arts, performing arts, healing arts, Venus sub-period. I think Venus gets some strength because it's in a sign ruled by Saturn, and Saturn's in that sign. That makes it a Panch Mahapurusha Yoga, one of the five great yogas. Now, in October 2011, for about a year, he's in the Sun period, which is royalty. Very powerful. He's like a king. Now, in August 31st, 2012, he goes into a year and 3 months, or I guess that's a total of a year and 7 months, in Moon. And Moon rules divine grace and good fortune. It's in the 12th house of foreign lands, but it's weak at 0 degrees. But here's the problem. In March 2014, he goes into the final subperiod of Rahu, which is Mars. And that is always a year of massive change. And this Mars is a malefic for him, ruling conflicts, disputes, accidents, fire, theft, enemies. So he definitely needs to do planetary astral remedies to make it through that last year of Mars. And I do think the current transits for him are not favorable. Look at this Rahu at 7 degrees. Is on top of his Rahu at 3 degrees and is ascended at 5 degrees, and it's going to get worse. This Rahu is going to go retrograde 7, 6, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2. So Rahu and Ketu are causing afflictions in 6 of his 12 houses for all of August, September, October, November, and December 2012. So he needs to do some planetary remedies and not take any risks or chances.